Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back for our first review of My Five Wives. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button as we jump into it. Hopefully, StreamYard isn't buffering or anything like that. I noticed with the last video that I recorded, me saying hello was broken up. I don't know what that is about, but hopefully it's better now. My first thoughts is that I can see myself getting into this. I actually find myself liking the husband because I see him putting forth a little bit of effort. The fact that he gets up every morning to an alarm to make sure that he goes and says good morning to each one of his wives, I don't think that it's something that he's doing for the sake of the show. I think it's something that he actually does, especially when his wives later joke around about the fact that this is something that he does. And I said, like, he's really committed to it because he doesn't even bother brushing his teeth. He just gets out of bed and goes from house to house to house saying, I love you and good morning. So I want to go ahead and do a little bit something different here. I will not be doing this all the time with the pictures and stuff, but because this is something new and because I myself haven't even watched this prior to a couple days ago just to know what I was getting myself into, I'm still trying to familiarize myself with the wife, their number, and what they look like. So let's go ahead and get into it if we're going to get into it. Whoo-wee. All right. Y'all, I'm just like really sitting here and preparing myself. So Brady Williams is the head of the household. He works as a project manager at what I believe is his brother's construction business and is currently working on his degree in philosophy at the local university. Brady at one point was born into the Mormon church, and then at age 16, he converted to a fundamentalist Mormon, meaning he believed in plural marriage. He remained a part of his church for some time, serving in various roles. Then at some point, he and his family decided, like, look, this isn't for us. We need to break away from this church. They felt that the church wasn't working for them. And because they've done this, they've lost both family and friends. So now Brady and his family are kind of in their own world, and they still have relatives that talk to them, but their community is a lot smaller. So they live outside of Salt Lake City. Brady has five wives and 24 children, you guys. Do you see this screen? Five wives and 24 children. He had five wives by the time he was 29. Let that sink in because that's a lot of personalities, a lot of teacher visits, a lot of sickness, a lot of progress reports, a lot of personalities, a lot of food. It's a lot of mouths to feed. But here he is. And for the most part, from what I can see so far, the kids seem to be doing well. Now, they have two homes. The first three of his wives live in this. It looks like a Motel 6 to me. Okay, maybe not a Motel 6, but it does look like one of those motels to me. Anyways, so they three of his wives live in what you see here on the screen. It's broken up to what I'm feeling is kind of like a townhouse setup, and then the other two live in this, which is not far from the thing. I think it's next door, but I'm not quite sure. We'll see though as we go along. If you know, put it down below for me. So each wife has her own kitchen, but they do share two washer and dryers. So we're talking about all of those people, a little under 30 people, sharing two washers and two dryers, to the point where he says laundry is something that's always going. So I can only imagine what that water bill and what that electricity bill or gas bill, however it's powered, looks like. First we meet Pauline. Pauline is the legal and the first wife. She is, very soft spoken. Her voice, the way that she speaks, and how she's so, docile and sweet. It kind of reminds me of, the way Michelle spoke on 17 or however many in counting. But I'm hoping it's not that type of situation. Her name is Paulie. Paulie and Brady have 6 children. They have been married for 22 years. They dated for 6 weeks and then they got married, which sticks to the theme of these short courtships that don't really last really long. But here they are looking happy and kind of looking a little bit alike. They're not related. I'm just saying in that smile. She said that she knew that she always wanted to live plural marriage. She does admit that it's difficult at times because her husband has to be shared. Like there are times where he can't be there when both she and the kids need him. And in those moments, she does feel like she's alone. Brady says that one of the things that caught his attention about Pauline was how beautiful she was, how feminine she was, and how motherly she was to her siblings. Based off of my observations, Pauline seems to be very chill as well as considerate of the others, to the point where even though he forgot his anniversary with Pauline, she made sure that she reminded him about his upcoming anniversary with Rosemary. He says she is not the queen bee. So in a lot of plural marriages, whether they want to admit it or not, and what we've read in the books, the first wife seems to have all the stuff like the legal marriage and a lot of the rights, and she kind of controls the women and things of that nature, whereas in this situation it's not that. He says that all of the marriages are co-equal, that it just works better that way. All of the wives, based on what I saw in this episode, feel connected to her in some way. She is described by all of them as sweet and loving. Now, Polly has been working in the dental field. I'm going to assume that because of the show, she decided to reveal to them that she is a polygamist. And he asks, her, how did that go? And she says, my boss doesn't care. She actually wanted to know more about how me and, the sister wives get along. I personally feel like it's no one's business, but I get that because you're on a show, you do feel like you have to say something. So later that night, we get to see how chill she is because she's not upset about the whole anniversary thing. She just tells him, like, look, you owe me an anniversary date. She doesn't make a big deal about him forgetting, because as he points out, he often forgets dates because of how many there are. I'm going to say the same thing that I said for Cody the Bald Eagle Brown, which is that, in my opinion, there's no excuse to forget dates when there are things such as calendars. I understand that this was taken back in like 2013, but there were phones and things of that nature, and there was always a paper calendar. Like there was ways for you to try to remember dates. If you care about something enough, you'll write it down. And I feel like that's what somebody who has all these wives and all these children should do. Get a calendar. So they get extra nights, he says, for anniversaries and birthdays. For 5-year anniversaries, they go away for a couple of nights. And for the 10-year anniversary, they get to go away for a whole week. It seems to me that for the most part, he tries to be fair in the way that he approaches things. At least that's what it's giving in this episode 1, and that he seems to put forth effort with all of his wives. I actually like him. It's the wives some of them that was getting on my nerves. I said it's too early for them to be getting on my nerves, but some of them were. Okay, now let's meet Robin. This is Robin. Let me take myself off the screen so you can see the whole family. This is Robin. Robin is his second wife. She and Brady have 5 children. She got married to Brady 8 months after Paulie. And Paulie was pregnant at the time. I don't know what it is about these polygamous men. I don't know why it seems like in every book, on a lot of the episodes, that we see that these men get married while they have another wife that's pregnant. What's up with that? Is it because of the whole situation where in some of the polygamous sex cults, whatever you want to call it, in some of the arenas, they don't believe in having marital acts while the wife is pregnant? Is that why you go get married to another wife and start there? Like, what is the rush? Why can't you wait until the baby is had and things of that nature? So she got married to Brady, as I said, 8 months after. It was a thing where it was an adjustment. Brady and Robin have been married for 21 years, with Brady admitting that he was wrong when he thought that it would be as simple as adding Robin to the family. Sorry, it's pixelated, but the image that they put on the screen was pixelated, so I did the best I could. Um, he said because when you add someone else to the family, the dynamic changes and personalities change. And I just appreciate how honest he's being about the situation, which is that, look, we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. They didn't tell us, they didn't inform us, they didn't make sure that we knew what was what. And as a result of that, it created, a little bit of adjustment. Um, her her ideas, he says, when you add a different wife, need to be incorporated as well. So Brady describes her as intuitive, sensitive, and artistic. She and Brady have the same birthday, which seems to be an issue with a lot of the wives when it comes to how that time should be spent. She seems like the one, in my opinion, that doesn't always speak her mind. Like, it has to get to a point where it's a lot and then she kind of speaks up for herself. She comes across as timid and not as vocal. But you all tell me what you think of her. Next, we have Rosemary. Rosemary is the third wife. She is described as the best cook out of the wives. When these ladies prepare dinner, they do not do it just for their family. They alternate each night and prepare a meal for the entire family. And majority of the kids call her the gourmet chef. She and Brady have been married for 18 years. As you can see on the picture, they have four beautiful children. She says that she met him through the church, and she was the one who kind of fell for him, whereas he took a while to return interest in her. Like, he wasn't really interested in her at first. She says that she was 20 years old and he was 24 when they got married. And Brady talks about how with Rosemary, she's his calm. She's talented. We see her play the piano. And she is in school to become a music education teacher. She admits to struggling with being married for many years because the others were quiet, and she worried that if she were too loud, that it would, get on their nerves. I think I like her. It's clear she's the one that has some issues with her appearance and how she feels about herself, because she admits that. She also talks about how, despite coming from a polygamous family, that there are difficulties, and she at times finds herself doing a lot of comparison. She says that she's always struggled with her weight, and that it doesn't help that she's constantly surrounded by these skinny chicks. Well, she doesn't call them chicks, but I'm just saying that, by these skinny ladies, her skinny sister wives, when she is fluctuating in her weight. We see at night her and Brady talk, and he tells her, how he went to the doctor. And one of the things that he found out is that his blood pressure is too high. And it's something that the doctor has encouraged him to work on. And he knows that she herself has been having some health complications. And as a result of that, he thinks that it will be a good idea for them to kind of work on things together. He lets her know, because he tells us she's really sensitive when it comes to talking about weight. He lets her know it's not about, the weight. It's about your health. The way that he approached this, I appreciated him, because it genuinely seemed to me like he was coming from a place of care, where he was coming from a place of concern, and where he was wanting to be supportive to his wife. She says, I do want to do it with you, but you have this tendency to start with me. You lose weight, I don't. You lose 30 pounds, and the time it takes you to lose 30 pounds in a couple months, it takes me a couple of years. You start and then you don't, follow through. Like, you, once you get results, you stop. And I think that I get what she's saying, and saying that she wants support from him, but it's not fair to just put it on him. She has to do her part too. And I'm saying this because this is the very thing that myself and my man were talking about the other day, because I didn't put on some weight myself. I really saw it um the other day for date night, when I went to put on a shirt that previously buttoned up, that a year ago, it was snug in my titty area, but now it's like snug, snug. And it's not because my breast got bigger, it's because my back, my back got bigger because it's extra weight on it. And I was saying to my man, like, look here, you told me that we were gonna start doing this, da, 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 and you said you could. And I came in the house, and I had already ate my little stuff, and I made sure that I had my water. I said I wasn't gonna be drinking any wine, and yada yada yo. And then I come in, and what do you got in the fridge? You got my favorite wine and stuff. Like, why are you doing this to me? But I can't blame him. It's on me, because I'm the one who made the statement that if I do drink, it will be a thing where, okay, it's going to be in moderation. Maybe I'll have, a glass here instead of the whole bottle. Don't judge me. I'm just saying. So when I'm hearing her, I'm saying, okay, you have to take some accountability as well, and understand that there's only so much that he can do. You have to do your part too. So she talks about how she feels like a hippo next to the ballerina wives, and she begins crying. And he is very, very patient with her, very caring, very loving. He's looking at her as if he cares. He's not annoyed. Like, I'm not, well, I'm going to compare. When it comes to the way he is with them versus the way Cody was with his wives, it often seemed to me at times where Christine felt a way about her body, or Janelle, or whomever, that he got irritated with them. The only one he seemed to be compassionate with was the bird. So seeing this man loving his wives, and it actually does seem to be equal, I'm kind of digging it. And I hope he maintains this, because it would be nice to see a good guy up here as a polygamous representative. So he says, he worries for her. She worries that he would rather be making love to them than her. I'm sure that they often compare themselves to one another. This is something that comes with you having all these women. He tells her he makes love to her because he loves her. It's not about appearance. And she's like, oh my God, are you saying I'm fat? And he's like, no, what I'm saying is it's about the love. No matter what you look like, no matter how old you get, whether you're thin or whether you're thick, I love you. And I say, yes, beautiful. Beautiful. That's what it's about. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear that you love your women, no matter what, because you fell for them, and what's inside here in their heart. Well, let me not show all that, because I just got on a t-shirt. But what's in their heart, and what's in their mind, not just this. I love it. Um, he lets us know that it breaks his heart that she feels this way about herself, because he's so attracted to her. And when he said it, I wrote in my notes, I am liking him. Let's get to this next one. Y'all. Let me move myself right quick so you can see all of the beautiful babies. You guys. This is Noni. Noni is the fourth wife. I'm letting you all know right now, I'm not a fan of Noni. Maybe it will change, but as of right now, I'm not a fan of Noni. Noni can kick rocks. Noni is on my nerves. I watched 3 episodes. I've only taken notes for this one, but I watched 3 episodes to determine, what I was getting myself into with this. And Noni is on my nerves. She even got on my nerves in this first episode, if I'm being honest. So she and Brady have been married for 15 years. They have 5 children, beautiful kids, as you can tell. She knew she wanted to be a plural wife. She too had a hard time coming into the family. She lived with Robin. So she lived with the second wife when she came into the family. And it took time and it was a major adjustment, as Robin says. Robin says that she was trying to give them privacy. And if she did give them privacy, then Noni felt like she didn't want to be her friend. And if she was around too much, then Noni felt like she was hovering. So basically, there was nothing that she could do to satisfy Noni. That's the way I'm taking it. She doesn't say it that way, but that's how I'm taking it. Tell me how y'all take it. So Noni is walking around her house as she calls herself a perfectionist, but the position of her bed and the fact that she has it catty cornered in this weird way with a door right there and all the other stuff makes me wonder how much of a perfectionist she is, because that would drive me nuts. Like right now, the angle that I have, this is driving me nuts, but I want to put on a bra, y'all, so the angle is funky. I'm just being honest. I did it. I didn't feel like putting on clothes. So here we are. Anyways, so she is a perfectionist. She calls herself a warrior. Not a warrior, a worrier. Yet, even though they're currently struggling and she's a worrier and they're currently in a recession, she wants another baby. What I like about the conversation that we see her have with Brady is that she actually does seem, or I should say, Brady actually does seem to be thinking about all of the kids, not just Brandy's desires, but how this will affect all of his kids. Brady, no, I said Brandy's desires. Naomi, I told you I was going to take me a while with these names. Not Naomi. What's her name? Noni. Ooh, let me scroll up. Yeah, Noni's desires and how it's going to affect the kids. Brady says one of the things that occupies his mind a lot is making sure that he makes the as much of a connection with all of his children as he possibly can each day. He feels like he's stretched thin. I don't know how much of a connection you can make with 24 kids in a day. I don't. Because you're gone for a majority of the day to work. You come home. How long are you in each of your 5 homes in order to make said connection each day? He says he wants to be as present as he can be, and that adding another kid to the mix will make it even harder. She just wants him to want it. She just wants him to agree that it could be a possibility. She feels that even though his plate is full, that he gives her and her children enough love. That's the way you feel. And that brought me back to Janelle, because Janelle with the Browns had that same sentiment that her kids got plenty of attention from Cody. Meanwhile, Christine's didn't. And the situation is different here because he actually was spending more time with some than others, or he would be in the house, but he wasn't present. And it makes me wonder how these children feel about the situation rather than what the parents. So he says he's willing to think about it. Let's get on to Rhonda. So Rhonda is the 5th wife. She and Brady have been married for 14 years. Everyone loves her to the point where Brady says there's not a person that's met her that does not love her. Brady describes her as nurturing and wonderful. She's a medical assistant. She and Brady have 4 children together. You see all the blondes? Yeah, those are all hers. She and Brady met before any of the other first wives. They actually dated back when they were teenagers, but after they broke up, he married everyone else. That alone, for me, that would have been it. You married everybody else? Oh. So they got married 10 years after they first dated. She is the easiest to get along with, but she feels like it took her 8 years to figure out where she belonged. This is news to the wives. Pauline says for her, she felt like Rhonda completed their family. Rhonda feels like all of the wives are her best friends. She's the only one that I can recall saying that. If somebody else said it, put it down below. She, like Noni, kind of got on my nerves when it came to this baby talk because she wants another baby. She's had extreme complications in her pregnancies. As a result of that, it has been suggested that she doesn't have any more kids. Her remedy to that is to adopt. It's something that she wanted to do prior. She said that she would rather the child to be of a different race because if her kids could see a child of a different race as their sibling, then that just goes to show how much they can love. I think that that is a beautiful thought, right? But I think that there's so much more that goes into that. And I'm saying that because I've seen how this has played out in my family and in some friendships. I think that when you adopt someone of a different race, you have to understand more about them, their culture, their race, because there are things that will come up. And one of those things, unfortunately, is the ignorance of others. And you really, really have to be prepared to deal with that. And I'm, thinking ahead, and maybe they're not to that part, but I just would want it to be a situation where it's the easier transition for all of the kids, not just the one that you're adopting, but the ones that you currently have. So Brady reminds her that this will be more expensive than having a child of their own. So this is something that they're going to have to take time to consider, and it is going to need to be voted upon by the family. She, of course, is worried that they'll shoot it down. So he says, like, let's talk about it at the next family meeting, which it seems they have family meetings weekly. So it's birthday time. It's Ronnie's birthday. I don't even think I took a picture of that, but we'll just have the wives up here. It's Ronnie's birthday. Matter of fact, we'll do this. Um, it's Pauline's night to cook. As I said earlier, Robin and Brady have the same birthday. Normally, what happens when it comes to birthdays is that he spends the night with that wife, meaning that because they have the same birthday, she always has him on Brady's birthday. We see the wives and the kids have dinner together. We see the whole part where she sits down, and when it's your birthday, rather than giving out birthday licks, Brady gives out birthday kisses for the age. So I think she was turning 40, so she got 40 kisses. So you see him kissing her multiple times all over her face, like he's like mwah, 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 forehead, lips, neck. He down here on her neck and everything, and she's visibly uncomfortable, as are the wives. The kids laugh though, but the wives seem to be jealous because it's hard to watch their husband have affection with another woman. And because they also want him on his birthday. I don't think it's realistic to be in a polygamous lifestyle if you can't just be. One of the things that I did like about Joe and his wives when they came on the Brown show, when they went on their trip, while they were at that beach, Joe was being affectionate towards all his wives at various points. And it seemed like it was very natural, whereas the Browns are like, oh my goodness, I can't believe he's doing it. And I feel like if you're going to be in this situation where you're deciding that you want to be a polygamist, that you should be able to be affectionate. Now, I'm not saying tongue the man down, but you should be able to give him a hug and a peck on the lips. Like you're sharing them already. Y'all don't think about this at all. It be something I be thinking about all the time. Like, good night. Up, he going to her bed. They about to have a good time tonight. Like, I mean, not to say that's what's happening, but I'm just saying, like, it's unrealistic to me to feel like, oh, y'all are so bothered by affection when it's evident based on the kids' ages and how they're all basically stair steps that everybody's been getting busy. So we hear how they feel hurt that they never get to spend time with Brady's for his birthday. It's always Robin. That night, Robin ends up crying, saying that she dreads, this day. She dreads their birthdays. She doesn't want it to cause any more problems, and she doesn't want to be walked on. He suggests talking about it at the family meeting. I want to know, how long has this been an issue? Because all of you all have been here for a significant amount of time. We're talking at this point, everybody's been together as a family for 14 years. So you all have been together as a family for 14 years, and this is still a thing. Why? So the family meeting is held. One of the first things that they address is the birthday situation. Robin doesn't want the other wives to be mad at her, so it's suggested, find other ways to celebrate the birthday. Rosemary thinks that they should just celebrate Brady's birthday on a different day. They determine that what they'll do is on the birthday that they will, celebrate with him, and he'll make sure that he does something special with her on his own another time. And I think she'll get him at night. I didn't really get clarification on that part. If you got it, put it down below. Next is Rhonda's adoption. She lets the family know that she wants to do this. That is something that she's always wanted to do. And Noni starts speaking. She's got that sound in her voice that lets me know she's about to cry. And she says, wait, rather than addressing what Rhonda just said, she makes it about her. She tells them that she wants another child for herself as well to be on the table. Brady tells us it's valid for her to feel that way, especially with Rhonda wanting one. She just feels like she should be able to have another child. Robin says, I feel like me and my children feel like you're overwhelmed. Yes, you can have a lot of love, but there's only one you. Like, you're already being stretched far enough. Rosemary thought that it was inappropriate for no need to even make it about her when they were talking about the adoption thing, because that was supposed to be the last thing on the table. I personally am with Rosemary. I don't think it's about you right now, but I think it's selfish for any of them to be talking about additional kids when they have as many as they have. The wives didn't say no, but they're concerned about what adoption would mean for their family. They want to know if adoption is something that can even be considered since they're a polygamous family. He says he's willing to fight for it, but he needs to know where the others stand. Rhonda says it will break her heart if her sister wives stop it. And I feel like her heart would just have to be broken because it's too much. Paulie says, if it's going to affect our kids and our family, I don't think it will be worth it. And they kind of end on that note. I really decided that for this, I'm not going to be as in depth with my details. I'm going to just talk about what sticks out to me. So if there is something that you wanted to talk about that I didn't mention, feel free to put it down below. I'm interested in seeing your thoughts on this. So far, I think I'm going to enjoy watching this because if I'm being completely honest, Big Love started to get annoying to me because everything was so rushed towards the end. And I feel like they did a disservice to a lot of the characters. So hopefully, and this only got 2 seasons. I didn't realize it only had 2 seasons, but hopefully we enjoy the 2 seasons of this. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Like the video, as I said, because it helps me and it helps my channel. Until next time.